Okay. Okay. Let's see.
Okay. Okay. We are just going down the road with the. Oh no. Yeah.
Yeah. You got everything on your end?
Yep.
That's good. Okay. And I believe I have. Let me make sure. Yeah, this is
Well, take your
correct.
time.
No, actually I have everything. I
Mm.
want to make sure. I want to make sure that I ready myself because I am blessed today. Here, oh God, what? I just exited out the screen.
Oh God.
No,
Yeah,
I'm
we are
blessed.
professionals. We are professional folks. Don't calm down. Don't worry. We're professionals.
Yeah, we are professionals because I'm here with Kemba. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Kemba.
Hi.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh
Hi.
my gosh.
Hi.
I don't know why I'm making that noise. Oh, well, this beautiful soul here. Murderous dolphin. Wait, what? How can you be so sweet, so beautiful, but your name is Murderous Dolphin? What is up with that?
Okay, so actually, I actually explained the story behind my name on my last stream, which was Sunday. So basically, I was supposed to be called the Raging Dolphin, but there's another creator by the name of the Raging Unicorn. So I did not want to, like, take from their brand. So I was
Mm.
talking to one of my friends one day, and they told me, like, because my favorite aquatic animal has always been dolphins. So they had told me one day of like the history of dolphins and how they have, like, a little bit of like a violent tendency to them. And I was like, oh, I was like, considering that we know the ones at SeaWorld probably wants to, like, shove a pitchfork up somebody's up somebody's up,
Shove a what up? What?
I was
What?
like, I,
Huh?
I was like, but I was like, I said to them, like, I probably know the dolphins at SeaWorld probably would love to shove a pitchfork up somebody's butt somewhere because
What?
but
Wait, where did we start with shoving pitchforks up someone's? What
yeah,
kind
so
of?
that's the
What kind?
so
What?
that's the reason behind my name, because a friend, but basically, like, the TDLR is like a friend told me that dolphins, like, have like murderous tendencies to them if you do, like, the in-depth research beyond from what you just know from what you've seen about dolphins, that they are really not that nice of a creature.
So dolphins shove pitchforks up people's butt crack.
They can if they want to, if they can do it.
How? How? How?
I already broke you. I'm sorry.
So murderous dolphins. Wait, what? So why did you want it to be the raging dolphin though? Like, so why with all this violence in dolphins? Like, you mentioned that dolphins are violent, but why do you want to be a violent dolphin?
Because why not?
What do you mean? Because why not? What kind of
I like you gotta have like a little, I'm not saying like a whole lot of violence. I'm just saying like a little smidge of violence every now and then.
No, we don't need we. Okay, all right. Well, besides that, did Violent Dolphins encourage you to be a content creator or like what?
No, actually. No, actually. So I always wanted to be a content creator from since I was like a teenager, but I didn't want to start content creation in the teen as a teenager because I was a minor back then, which makes sense. So one of the games that I was fully like obsessed with when I was younger was Wizard 101. So I was
Mm.
following a streamer by the name of Tara Dawnbreaker here on Twitch, and I always loved like her community and like how she was like an amazing content creator and whatnot. So she kind of inspired me to create my own little corner of the internet.
Okay. Um, and happy for that. But what does content creation mean to you?
Content creation means to me like being able to like express myself and share my stories and journeys that one I hope one day somebody can like come across my streams, my YouTube videos, and like see like, oh, that she went through this and I went through like something similar, and maybe they could possibly relate to it.
Okay. Well, besides just the matter of like what maybe one day somebody else will check out your stuff and they'll relate to it. Like, what do you get out of it? Like, just never
Well,
mind what other influencers may have encouraged you to want to get into content creation or the hope that other people see what you do. What do you benefit from doing all this?
I think me personally, I benefit from all this of making sure that my story gets heard one way or another, regardless of like whatever form of content that is, whether that's like through YouTube video streams, TikToks and whatnot, just to like make sure that like my story gets heard, because I went through like a life when I was younger of like my voice not being heard and being undermined so much. So like just making myself like heard and being free, I suppose.
Okay, so what when you mentioned that you wanted to share your story because you feel like in the past you feel like you've not been heard. Like, what do you mean by that?
In the past, I was in my perspective, I wasn't very heard. Like I was unfortunately had to grow up in like the type of mindset where a child should be seen and not heard type of mentality. So anytime like I try to like speak what I was passionate about, voice my different opinions from other people's opinions, like I was always told to like be quiet, not be so like controversial about these things. So I just took that to heart, I guess, and was like, well, if nobody's gonna like want to hear me when I was younger, I was like, what makes me gonna think like people gonna want to hear me when I'm like older and whatnot.
So, like, what kind of like controversial? Like when you mentioned that's why people don't want to hear you. They want you to be seen. But you mentioned controversial stuff.
Like I'm by controversial stuff, like I mean, like like the typical controversial stuff, like we see in like today's like society. Like as you know, I am a bisexual woman. So like
Okay.
when I first came out as a bisexual woman, my mom was completely like accepting of me being bisexual. But when it came to my dad's side of the family, they was like anti-LGBT. They was like trying
Hmm.
to like trying to convert me and like saying like, oh, you shouldn't support these types of people and whatnot, and because they're going to go to like X, Y, and Z. So I was like, okay, because again, like I didn't want any like drama between me and my dad's side of the family. So I was just like, okay, and just like just left it alone.
Hmm. Yeah. No, that's definitely relatable. Do you okay? So that does clear things up a lot in regard to
Hmm.
that statement. Um,
Hmm.
do you feel like today, where you are right now, do you feel like you're more accepted as a bisexual woman?
Oh, most definitely. I'm more sexual accepted as a, bisexual woman because like if I feel like it's more like comfortable for me to say and talk about like my bisexuality than it is to talk about anything else because like most times when I meet like a new person, they probably have like they either are like queer themselves or they have like a best friend or a close relative to them that is also queer, so we can like kind of combat talk ideas off of that and like start spark a deeper conversation off of that as well.
Okay, that's important. Okay, so in that regard, that does bring a very special benefit to being a content creator. Do you so when you for those who don't know your streams who haven't tuned in, like they're seeing you for the first time. When you go live, okay, do you in your streams talk about your bisexuality?
Yeah, I do mention my bisexuality a lot because like I be talking about like how like I find like different like celebrity women attractive, different non-binary people attractive as well. And then like I also talk about like sometimes I talk about like if I recently like had a date with like a woman or a non-binary person, I'm also open. I also talk about that on my stream as well sometimes when that happens. So
Okay, okay. That's awesome to see that life has kind of accepted you. Do you feel like do you feel like streaming because of streaming that you feel more accepted as a bisexual woman, or do you feel like this at least being accepted as who you are could have happened other ways as well?
I feel like once I entered like the streaming industry, I feel like I was highly accepted more than I have ever been because like when I first started streaming, like of course like I had my already queer friends, but when I started streaming I met wonderful queer creators of all like sexualities, from like from pansexuals to demisexuals to like all different types of like sexualities, and from there they taught me like how to maneuver within like the community itself, and how to better explore like my sexuality and things of that nature.
Okay. In what ways do you sort of practice, at least your education of your stories with bisexuality? Just kind of basically, is it like just chatting, or do you play some games and talk about your bisexuality that way, or like how does that? How do you bring that communication across to the viewer?
Well, I often talk about because I do have a YouTube video on it, but I often talk about like what like sparked my like interest. Not only sparked my interest in the LGBTQ community, but also like made me discover like my bisexuality is back in high school. I actually did a whole entire paper, like I believe a 10-page paper on the Stonewall riots, and like from there like I learned about different things, and like I had like a better understanding of like the queer community as a whole, because coming into it I wasn't gonna say like I wasn't as knowledgeable as I was just like kind of naive to like all the different things and aspects, and like where it started from and and where it is now, if that
Mm.
makes any sense.
No, no, that definitely makes perfect sense. But I'm happy for you. That's awesome. To now be or at least to feel that comfort. I'm bisexual as well, so
Mm.
that's I feel yeah.
Bisexual besties.
You are so goddamn goofy.
Listen, listen. I have to do it one way or another. I'm sorry. It's just me. You know, okay, I'm calm down.
You're full of it today. Um, okay, well, besides all this goofy, but besides the bisexual
Hmm.
topic, which why why are you positioning the camera like that? Why?
Listen, listen.
Okay, those listening, I just looked away for 1 second, and I look at the camera, and you have the camera positioned down with like your face hovering over, like you're about to do something.
Listen, listen. My phone is dying.
Oh, you are something else.
Hey,
Okay,
you either
well,
you either love it or you hate it.
all right. Okay, all right. Well, anyway, um, move on from that. Besides, the part of your life with bisexual, but bisexual education, even just coming out and expressing that part of yourself.
Hmm.
What makes you stand out as a creator? Why should people
I
tune into your channel?
I feel like what makes me stand out as a creator is that
Okay,
I
before you answer that question, please move closer to the camera. The way the way it's positioned and your face is like barely even visible on the screen. I don't, girl. I don't know what the heck you're even trying. I'm trying to do because you're charging on your end, but for me, it looks like you're performing something this sort
but I am deeply sorry. But but no. But no.
It's like I'm at the
Um
dentist or something. I'm looking. Okay, Mr. Pond, open up your teeth. Good, good. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see those calories.
let me see those cavities. Okay, but no, like I feel like why people should give me a chance as a creator, because not to like be like cliche and whatnot and say that I'm a safe space for like all people, which I am. I feel like people should give me a chance because like even though like I play games and whatnot, I mainly like tend to like prioritize talking to chat and like building connections while talking to chat, regardless if I'm like, since I primarily play Overwatch.
I know that. Oh, oh, uh oh. Kimba, you okay? Kimba? Oh gosh. I think we lost her. Uh oh. Okay. let me go ahead and let me go ahead and do a intermission here. No, not stream ending. What am I talking about? Be right back. Okay. Let me see what's going on here. Uh oh. Oh no. Alright, hold on guys. Hold on guys. I think we're having some. Your phone died. No. Wait. Uh oh gosh. What is going on here? Wow. Um. Okay. I think we lost. Let me see if I can get her back. Hold on, guys. Let me see if I can get Kimba back. Um. Yeah. Hold on. Hold on. Oh. Hello. Hello. Oh. Yeah. No, this camera doesn't have audio, or at least now you have. I mean, you can go. You can go into the settings and mess around with it. Like if you go to if you go to your settings and then like switch the input and output of your mic, maybe you can change it to something else. Yeah, because I see you clearly. I don't hear you. So
Okay.
oh no! Wait! I think I heard something.
You heard me?
I heard you. I
It was
heard
my
you.
it was my input sensitivity was too damn high.
Oh my god. Well, now you got the camera above your face. There is not a good shot of you, girl. Like every time you move the camera around, it's like
My face is here.
no,
That's all I got.
but like your chin is like below the camera view. Like it's you're still it like if you put it front and center, like you adjust it to where you know you're at least because it still looks like you're kind of semi underneath the camera.
Okay, hold on a second.
Yeah. Hold on.
Sorry about that, folks.
you are definitely
Okay.
full wave.
Yeah, I am sometimes.
Oh, I'm gonna say sometimes. Don't say that.
Is that better?
That is, but the light is kind of in your eyes a little bit. At least on my end, there is a light that's kind of blocking your face a bit.
Okay.
Okay, that's a lot better angle. Well, okay, now just tilt it back up. Try to tilt it down.
Okay, hold on.
You almost had it. You had it right there. You know what? You know what? I'll work with that. I'll work with that.
Okay,
There you go. There you go. We did it.
we're
We
professionals,
did
folks.
it.
Listen, this
We
is my
did
first.
it. We.
Listen, everybody. This is my first interview out here.
The way you just you giggled uncontrollably after saying that.
Because I'm the type of person where I can take stuff seriously, but at the same time, I can't.
All right. Okay. Well, you left off on saying that you play Overwatch.
So, like, when I play Overwatch and, like, mainly any games in general, like, I try to, like, prioritize talking to chat, building connections, because before I lost my laptop this summer because it gained water damage, I would spend like 30 minutes to like probably an hour and a half, building connections with my community, whether that's like, talking with them or playing like, words on stream, and like, checking out like random YouTube videos, because there was a point in my stream where we went down a whole entire route of going down watching catfish. So
Okay.
it's just like, with I feel like with me, you will get like, the safe space of like, me talking about like, my experiences as a black person, as a bisexual person, as a partially disabled person, but you also get like, the little bit of like chaos, as well as cliche as it may seem, and whatnot.
And what kind of chaos?
I feel
If you
I feel like
had,
the type of chaos that it like we just like endure, of like, me having like, mic troubles, and me like, peaking my mic because I'm screaming so damn much and whatnot.
why are you screaming so much?
Have you ever played Overwatch?
I mean, I have, but I haven't screamed over
I'm like, oh. I'm like, oh, so you don't know the pain.
No,
I
I
was like,
don't.
oh, must be naughty.
No, I haven't played Overwatch in a while, so but no, no. Do you? Okay, so on the month of okay, now I'm jumping on my words. No, what I meant to say was that I drink this candy corn juice. That your eyes just open up like that. Okay. Well,
Okay.
what? Um, okay, okay. No, no. What I was trying to say is that
Mm.
Overwatch. Do you do you play it casually or competitively?
I play casually, and what I mean by playing casually, like, yes, I do tend to like, have like, my sweaty moments where there's like a sweaty match here and there, but you will mainly see me just, probably listening to music and like just chilling and just like, trying to help my team the best I can, because I do play support in Overwatch. So with that being said, um like, I will mainly like with Overwatch, since I primarily like post Overwatch short form content. Like, you will mainly see like me catching like, the different interactions between the heroes, because with and this is specifically like a preference to me, and I'm not saying like it's a general preference or anything, but for me personally, like, I'm a big person on lore. Like, I will legitimately go down a rabbit hole and see and try to figure out like whatever lore, because like, for example, like with all like the different maps in Overwatch, I want to know what like life was like on those specific maps and whatnot. And like, I would like to know like the history behind like what Overwatch has, like the Overwatch organization has done before, they disbanded and whatnot. So like, I'm like the type of person that I want to know like the all the lore, any type of lore that I can possibly find, because when I find out lore, I literally will not stop talking about it for weeks and weeks and weeks on end.
Okay. Oh, woman, our girl, fresh till dead. Welcome in. Uh,
Oh, hi, Fresh. That's one of
oh,
that's my VIP and one of my community members. Hi, Fresh.
oh. Well, you know what?
Yeah, because I did
You're
post
fresh with
about it.
us. You wait that wait. Um. Anyway, um. Okay, that's awesome. Do you? Because there's different Overwatch leagues and like competitive game tournaments and people signing up for
Yeah.
esports or doing anything like that. Do you ever see yourself playing any of these online games like you want to participate in maybe not even a tournament, but like a custom match with other creators.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'll be down to like, run some games with fellow creators and custom matches. Like I will I think I seen like a custom match like for Overwatch like a couple months ago, but like I was like very like hesitant of like, signing up for it because like I didn't know like how well I would like, vibe and mesh with the people there. So I was like
Mm.
I kind of like, chicken out of it. So I was like, well, if it comes back around, then it comes back around.
Okay, so in that regard, like, what would you generally say about collaboration with other creators?
Oh, I am so down with collaborating with other creators. It's just like if I personally want like even though like I can be professional, I don't know like how to like, word messages and whatnot to say like, hey, like I really enjoy your content and really like enjoy your vibe. I don't know like how to professionally say like let's collaborate or like if you're like willing to like down to collaborate, but like outside of like, content creation, I can like do those types of, messages and emails
Mm.
like that, but when it comes to content creation, I don't know how to like, start it without, trying to seem like I'm trying to, you know, collaborate with this person for like, clout or collaborate with this person to like, to get my to gain more audience and whatnot.
Okay, so what does collaboration mean to you in specifically?
Collaboration means to me like it's just us like whether it's like me with like another person or me with like, a group of people. I feel like collaboration to me means like it's just us, all us, whether it's like one person or a group of people, like we're just all like, hanging out, playing the game and just like, talking and chilling and like vibing and whatnot. So basically, it's like a hangout, but we're all like, collaborating with one another. I don't know how to say that correctly.
That's all right. That's all right. No, that's a good perspective, or at least in a very, very sincere perspective. Or hey everyone, hi, fresh till dead. You know what? Let's talk about how fresh. Let's talk. You know what? I'm not gonna. Let's let's talk about how fresh it is to be a content creator. No, what I'm. God dang it! I can't even say this right. Honestly, I'm purposely messing up just to get your reaction, but it's no, no. What I actually mean to are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, okay. Anyway, um, LMO. Um, uh, so being that being a content creator, you understand that at this point, at this moment, it's a very saturated place, oversaturated, where
Yeah.
there are so many
Yeah.
people wanting to get into stream, wanting to get into content creation.
Yeah.
How so? First off, how do you keep going? How do you keep yourself consistently without burning yourself out?
Um. So, um, I kind and this might seem cliche, and if it does, I am very sorry. Um, how I keep myself like burnt out is that even though like yes, I stream Overwatch, but I can also like play Overwatch with my friends offline without, having like the thought in the back of my mind, like saying like, oh, I need to like, create like a video of this or oh, I need to like make sure that I go live and stream this so that way I can like, make content of it. Because like I feel like often enough with content creators, like they have like, their on stream games and their off stream games to like, kind of break away from the mode. But like I play all the games that I play on stream, I also play off stream without having to worry about like, oh well, I need to make content and this, that, and the third. Because I'm not I'm in content creation for like, all the good reasons to like, hang out with my community and like, spread positivity and like, things of that nature. but like I'm not in content creation to like make sure that like I must like do this perfectly and whatnot, because I will say this, like when I first started content creation, because I started back in 2021 and it's now 2024. So when I first started content creation, I was like, nitpicking every single thing. Like I was nitpicking like everything I do and everything that I say, because like I was like trying to make sure that like people like me and that people will like, will want to stick around and whatnot. And then like I feel like within that process I kind of like, lost myself and lost my authenticity. Wow, I can't speak tonight. But, but yeah, I feel like I lost myself, but like once like I like, threw that type of mindset out the window and just started doing like, what I love, which is like, entertaining people, because I was like previously a theater kid and whatnot.
Mm.
So
Mm.
and whatnot, because I was, even though this is completely unrelated, I remember like when I first like, knew how to like do like, the capture card to like my laptop to stream through OBS and whatnot. I remember one of my friends like coming to me like saying, one of my old friends I should say, coming to me saying like, oh well, were you scared to like, show your face on camera? And I was like, no, like being on camera doesn't scare me like at all. Like I think my biggest struggle with being a content creator is that I can yap, but at the same time, I don't yap at the same time. Cause like, there will be moments in my stream where like I'm like completely quiet, and like whether that's I'm on focus on game or whether I don't know what to talk about, because usually everything that I do talk about, I like usually say it in the beginning, like during the stream when it's like the first like just chatting portion of my stream, and then like I will give out like little, and then like I'll probably like say things that's like locked up in my brain throughout the way. But like I think like that's my biggest thing as a content creator, is that I struggle with yapping and not yapping.
Mm. And how do you maintain these yaps?
I think how I maintain these yaps is one, I try not to with I'm trying to learn not to like say everything that I want to say within like the first 30 minutes of my stream, which is an old habit that is trying to break, because I've been talking like for the first 30 minutes of my stream for like the past like 2 years now. So like I think like once like I find like a balance of like like, okay, I can like tell this part of like my week at the beginning of the stream, and then I can, and then once we like start playing games and whatnot, I can go on and like start talking about like the second half of my week. But knowing me, I don't do that, and I don't listen to myself, and I just yap about my whole entire week at the beginning, and then don't say nothing else.
Well, you tell yourself as a bookworm, and we've been on the bisexual talk, but I do have to ask, how does books come into play?
Oh, books come into play because I'm, like I said, I am a avid bookworm. Like I think my average like reading books per year is like 200 to like 300 a year.
Mm.
So
Okay.
like whenever like I'm starting like a new book, or whenever I'm playing with like one of my friends by the name of Faith, she's also an avid bookworm. We both talk to each other about like the whatever books we're reading, or whatever books we recently read and whatnot, because recently, I been yapping about books for like a couple of months now, only simply because I been getting into like the dark romance slash smut genre of reading and whatnot, because that is a completely two new genres to me, because I strictly been a fantasy girl my whole entire reading life. So I read everything that was like underneath fantasy, like Harry Potter, Twilight, the Shadowhunter Chronicles, anything that was labeled as fantasy, I most likely have read it and whatnot. And then like I kind of fell out with reading because of like how much fantasy I was consuming. So I was like, okay, I don't know what to read and whatnot. So like, but then like I would say like around like March 2023 last year, I found some dark romance books, and then like I got hooked off of that genre altogether, and then it just built from there, and now I'm just like a dark genre girly at this point.
Mm. So, what would you say to someone who doesn't read books?
I would say to somebody who doesn't read books is to start small
What if
and
they
whatnot.
don't
Like
want to read books?
all your books are you better. Like if you
I threw you off with that.
don't, yeah, I was like, what? I was like, sir, but no,
There are
like,
people who don't like books, so I use
um,
I joke partially, but that is also a
yeah,
yeah.
um, so I would say, start like I would say like whatever is like if you can't like read like a physical book, I would say like go like the audiobook route because
Mm.
my audiobook is like how like I read like a good 50% of my books because I am a active college student. So instead of like listening to music in the morning, I will like throw on like an audiobook, and by the time like I'm like halfway to campus, like I'm probably like a good like halfway through the book depending on how many pages it is.
What if they don't like audiobooks?
I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you because I can't say ebooks because that's like the digital version of a physical book. I don't have an answer for you.
Here
Read
I
a
thought.
paper book. I don't know.
Man, I thought you were gonna be like, you know what? I know how to convert people into readers. But you're like, no, if you don't like reading, and then sucks to be you, you dummy. Okay. All right. Well.
Uh,
Anyway. Um. Uh. Oh my God. No. 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 Man, I got the gills. But that.
yeah.
No, I joke about this. I do.
Mhm.
But there is a kind of, I wouldn't say IQ or anything like that, but there is a decline in people wanting to read.
Yeah.
How, like, besides if you were to get serious for a bit about that, like, how would you personally like combat and make, or at least someone who isn't even thinking about a book, entice them
Okay.
to pick one up?
Well, I would start with like what's like their favorite genre because I even if I recommend like my favorite books, I feel like if you recommend people the book type of books you love, I feel like the, it's not gonna click with some people. So like I would start with like what's their like favorite genre and whatnot, and then like I would go from there and like give them like something like small and like easy to like be engaged with, and then like as like times go on and they tell me that they really like my recommendations, then I will build up to like the more like intense stuff and whatnot.
And it's, I mean, and like that's the other thing is like people who don't pick up like books, there could be any reason for it. Like it doesn't always have
Yeah,
to be like someone just, they're a lazy bum, they just don't like reading. Like, there's
yeah,
things like dyslexia, or maybe somebody maybe like, it's today it's not always easy just defining one thing. There could be many factors for it, and
hmm
honestly, there's you know, if there's a reason to not read, um,
Mm-hmm.
I know that sounds weird saying that, but I would I would definitely, no matter what, try to have an open mind as long as as
Yeah,
long as it's not a hateful reason for it.
yeah.
Um,
Like my thing as a reader is like I'm open to like discussions of all books because um as like I mentioned earlier, like I'm just now getting into like the dark romance genre, but like lately I have been on a like historical fiction book, and like I've been like asking for like recommendations here and there from like not only my friends but from like other content creators online that I like love and adore that also reads that say like, hey, I seen you recently read this historical fiction. What do you like? What was your personal like experience in like reading that particular book? And then they tell me, and then I'll be like, okay. And then like I will go into it with an open mind because anytime I pick up a book, regardless of what genre it is, especially if it's a book that's like very hyped up, I will like probably look at like one or two reviews of the book, and then like I will go and like make my own personal thoughts and opinions about said book because I can't believe like everybody what everybody says online. I'm like, oh yeah, this is the best book ever. You must read it, and then you read it and you're like, y'all lie to me.
mm, mm, mm. Yeah, no, I get that.
Um,
You don't have anyone going up like, man, you told me to read, and then I read this book, and reading is for squares. So you know what? I'm gonna burn this book. I'm going to take it to the 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 waste, and I'm gonna dump it. I'm gonna set it on fire, and I'm gonna say no more books. Destroy books. They
yeah,
need to be banned. They need to be banned. Just like these politicians are doing. We need to ban all books. Just don't even have a
yeah,
book. Don't have a book. Just don't have it.
yeah. Because I will say this because like how like To Kill the Mockingbird is like banned in schools and whatnot,
Yeah.
and like yeah, I was like always curious as to why it was banned in the first place, and then I like like a copy within like my local library, and like one day I like spent like the day reading it from beginning to end and whatnot, and I formed like my own thoughts and opinions about it, and like I could kind of see why it was banned in the school systems, but I was like, if they would have like kept it around a little bit longer, I wouldn't have been mad at that.
Okay. Interesting way to look at it. Well, besides books, besides content creation, you know, you being a creator, there's a whole bit of marketing. How
Yeah.
do you let other people know that you're live or learn more about you? How do you sell yourself online? Like, what do you use these social media tools for in practice?
So I am very bad at social media, specifically Twitter, because
Hmm.
because when I first created my Twitter for content creation, I was basically, posting like, only my going live, like, oh hey, like I'm going live, I'm going live, I'm going live. And then like I read a tweet like after like, probably like my 100th going live tweet saying like you need to like stop going live because you don't want to like, spread like you don't want to fill people's feet of you constantly saying that you're live and whatnot, and you want to like give it like more personality and whatnot. So now whenever ever I tweet out that I'm going live, I would usually add like a funny meme or whatever like I'm up to and whatnot in the tweet to make it seem like, oh hey, she's talking about this, so let's go check it out. And like sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. Like I'm still I'm still learning about like the marketing process side of content creation because I'm not very good at it. Because
Mm,
I'm not saying like I expect people to show up. It's just like I put effort into it, and it feels like my efforts goes unnoticed and whatnot.
mm. Well, it's important to not feel that because
Yeah,
I mean, marketing, selling yourself is hard. So
yeah,
I would definitely not feel discouraged. But you did make an interesting point of view or topic, and you mentioned about don't stream too much. You said like
yeah.
don't constantly. So what would you say is the limit of how much you should be streaming per week?
It honestly depends on like the person itself and like the type of like lifestyle they're living with
Mm,
their like job and work. If they're a parent to like kids under like the age of 5, they probably can't like stream the amount of hours I stream, because I stream Thursday to Sunday 6 hours per stream, and that's like basically 24 hours for the week and whatnot. And like they may not be able to like do the like 24 hours. They might be able to like do like 3 hours here, 3 hours there and whatnot, and just like and see progress like that. I will say like for that aspect, it's just like all about like finding the balance within like your community and like within like your main audience. Because I will say this, specifically with my TikTok, my TikTok has seen like financial growth, but it also seen like the slow points, because when I was first uploading the TikTok, I was uploading like bright and early at 9 a.m., and then like I saw that it wasn't performing well, and then I started going to like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and that was doing well for like a few months, and then like it stopped doing well, and then I switched it to like I moved it a few hours back to 6, and then that stopped doing well, and now the new upload time is like around midnight to like 1 a.m. for me, because like I feel like if you want to for your audience, you need to like, I'm not gonna say like cater to them, but you need to like ask like, hey, if what time would be like benefit for y'all, for me to like typically go live, so that way we can all like sit and chat and hang out. Because so for I will say this, for me like I'm live at 6 p.m. EST. That's 5 for you. And but like for like my Australian like Fresh, my community member Fresh, he lives in Greece, and it's like early in the damn morning when I'm live for him. So
yeah.
it's like finding the balance between yourself and your community, because you want to make sure that it can fit into your schedule, but you also want to make sure that like it gives like your community a it gives your community time to like show up and support you as a content creator.
Okay, it's interesting you have that perspective because I think with anybody giving content creation advice, like everybody has different things to say. Even in regards to like streaming frequency, at one point, some would say you should stream pretty much only like up to times a week, and that's it. Others say no, you got to stream more than that. You got to be able to keep up, have some even more level of consistency. I would say here, Pawn Express streams up to 5 days a week, and some will stream 6 days a week.
Yeah,
Some channels will do 7 days a week. Again, that's as you mentioned, depending on your community. But it is interesting to see how it differs between each
yeah,
and everybody's preference.
yeah. Because like at the end of the day, like I said, it's not about like fully catering to your community. It's about like compromise. It's like compromising. Like, okay, my people in like my region, which is NA, is not available. Like sometime in like the early evenings, late evenings. So like I can stream them, but like for like my people in like EU, they're not available until like morning, early afternoon for them. So it's like
Right.
you gotta make sure that you find a balance, because like you don't want to cater not to one side of your audience and not to the other and whatnot.
Mm.
Because usually,
Okay.
because again, like I said, Fresh is he lives in Greece, so like if I were to like plan a movie night for my my community in the Discord server, I would like make sure that like it's at like a decent hour for Fresh, so that way he can like still come and be a part of the community night, and so that way he doesn't feel like oh well, I missed community night because it was at this time for y'all, but it was this time for me and I was busy.
Mm. No, that's important. That's actually interesting to think about. Um, do you, because we mainly talk about Twitch, but as you
Mhm.
mentioned, you're also on YouTube, additionally TikTok, Twitter.
Mhm.
We've mentioned it earlier about putting yourself out there, but this falls under the category of not burning yourself out. How do you work with? How do you juggle with all these apps to get your story out there?
So and this goes for like any and all content creation. Scheduling will be your best friend, because a lot of these apps have like a scheduling feature. For TikTok, it's on their like it's built in their designated like TikTok app, and on the desktop website, and on for like YouTube and Instagram, it's built into their like platform. But scheduling has actually been like a lifesaver and a game changer for me, because for me, I'm like quite forgetful, especially since like if I would like play with my friends, I would be like, okay, I can play with y'all, but I gotta like make sure that my short form content. But not since I've been like using the scheduling feature of both like Instagram and YouTube and whatnot. I can like still make sure that my shorts go out at a decently time hour, and not like having to worry about like, oh, I miss my upload time and whatnot. So like I would say, like, as a content creator, scheduling will be your best friend, because all you gotta do is just like script the video, edit the video, upload it, do like all like necessary captions and like tags and whatnot, and then like you gotta schedule it out, and once like it hits like that schedule day and time, it just gets published for you. You don't even have to think about it.
Okay, that's actually a really cool thought.
Yeah.
Because I mean, trying to work with all these different apps is a lot. So,
Yeah. Because the only two apps that I post on, like physically post on, is TikTok and Twitter, but mainly Twitter, because like TikTok, I already will just put it in like my drafts folder, and then when it's time to like upload, I will just hit post and whatnot. But yeah, scheduling will be a lifesaver for you. If you don't, I will say, like, if you never tried it before, just try it out once, like 1 week out of your week, and see like how you feel, and see like if your load is like a little bit like lighter slash lifted and whatnot.
okay.
Because like because being a content I'm not gonna lie, being a content creator is a lot, and it can be exhausting. So it's like, as long as like you like listen to yourself and your community, because your community can like tell when you personally, as like a streamer and as a content creator, are like getting burnt out, and they will be like looking after you and whatnot. Because I did have my community members a couple of times yell at me, saying like, hey, you need to take like a weekend off, because we see that you're not like yourself lately. So we fine, and like just take like the weekend off to yourself.
That's important. That's important. And lastly, what are you most looking forward to in your future?
Can, okay, clarifying question: are we talking about as like a content creator, or as in general
Both.
as a? Um, personally, I as like a person outside of content creation, um, I would say like I'm looking forward to like getting like my master's in psychology because I am currently a psych major in college right now. So that way I can like one day become a therapist. So like I'm looking forward to getting my master's because I'm finishing up my bachelor's degree at this current moment in time. Um, and like I hope to like also do like the other cliche thing that people want to do, like travel the world and see different sites of and whatnot, because I never travel outside of anywhere outside of America before, so it will be a very like exciting adventure for when I do. And like I would say, as a content creator, I would hope like not only my community grows and whatnot, but also um I and also that not only my community grows, but I also hope that one day when like I like officially like retire from content creation, because I don't know how long I'm gonna be doing this forever.
Mm.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not gonna
Oh.
sit here and
Oh, all right. Okay. Wow. Well,
I'm, I'm just being honest. Like I don't know if like I'm
okay.
gonna be like in my 50s doing this and whatnot. You know what I'm saying?
You're
So
not?
like
You're,
I would say like I hope like by the time that
oh.
I feel like it's time for me to like step away from my content creation journey, that I left like a big enough impact not only on the internet itself, but on my community members themselves.
Dang. No, I was gonna do this in my 60s. I got your punch, wrist. No, that's not what I'm gonna
I mean,
say.
like, if you want, like, I'm just being honest and whatnot. I can't lie on these things because
What?
because like I can't be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be in my 80s rocking and rolling and cussing
You
people
might.
out and
You
say,
you might. You might look at some
I mean,
look at
like,
some of those.
I mean, like, I mean, like, never, I mean, like, never say never and
Yeah,
whatnot.
yeah.
So, but like I'm just like saying from like a like realistic standpoint, like I don't know like how long I'm going to be doing this. I don't know like if like I will like ever like lose the passion, because I did lose the passion along the way. Along the way,
Okay.
I, along the way. So like I don't know how long I'm going to be doing this. But
Mm,
like as long as I'm here and I'm like creating content, streaming and whatnot, I just hope that my I just leave like a big enough impact on on the content creation industry.
that's a good way to put it. Good way to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, what I can say, Kemba, what lasts forever and ever and ever
Hmm.
are discounts. And that's why with humblebundle.com, you can get the way you just broke out like that. No, no, we no, we're at we reached the end, but we're giving word off to our sponsors, humblebundle.com. Again, if you are looking for discounts on PC or Switch games, exclamation mark humble, and you can shop all to your heart's content. 10% off. I mean, hey, I got the spiritual successor to Persona. That new game that's coming out.
Ooh.
I think it was Mesmer. What was it called? It was like Persona meets Fire Emblem. Mesmer. Metaphor Refantasio. Yes. What? Wait. What? What are you laughing at?
I
What
feel
the game
like
is?
if you I feel like if you say that fast, like five times fast, things are just gonna start floating in the air.
No, but hey, let's go. Hey, I'm excited. But I got it from Humble Bundle. And see, you can get great games like that at a discount. Also, a word to Poggers, a amazing energy, hydration, and sleep mix drinks, kind of like with things like G Fuel, but except for their big twist is having sleep mix. So if you are tired, you're up late, and you need to be knocked the heck out, then you get yourself a sleep drink, have a good rest. What is with the giggles? Please giggles. You don't want to you don't want to drink grape juice and then sleep for 8 hours. You're 10% off,
Hmm.
and you get yourself some amazing. Well, actually, you don't have to sleep for 8 hours, but helps you sleep at night is the point. Great service. Again, 10% goes back to Pawn Stress.
Aw, that's
Yeah, but where do people follow you?
well. You can follow me here on Twitch at Murris, twitch.tv/MurrisDolphin. And any of my social medias. You can. I'm live tomorrow night on Twitch at 6 p.m. EST. If you do not know when I'm live, you can like take there is a if you can find my channel, there is a time zone converter link, and you can convert my starting time into your correct time zone, so that way you can always know when your girl is live.
Okay, that's and
I
this
told you I'm bad at marketing myself.
you're not. What are you giggling about? All right, but this is on Pawn Express, which the interviews immediately go live after they're done, and saved forever to and also the audio version as well to be converted. Also, big thanks to the Disabled Content Creator Collective. I recently did get signed on to that. So um, I, I'm in the middle of kind of making some structures in my channel to reflect all that. I'm working on graphics and stuff, so there's gonna be some updates, and I can do a little more in depth promotion of that. But they're a wonderful community that has welcomed me,
Yeah,
and I do appreciate them completely. So I look forward to the future with them. But meantime, this is the end of the interview. Now, this is not the end of the stream. I am actually going to go straight into GTRP for a little bit as a part two to tonight. So we are going to go ahead and say goodbye to Kemba and wish her the best and the bestest day and week. And because she's going to stream and she's going to keep streaming even when she's 50. And look at those giggles. All right. Much love to you, girl. You have a good rest of your day.
you have a good rest of your night too. Bye, guys.
Bye. All right. Oh, hold on. Okay. Give me a second, guys. We'll be right back. No. Yeah, we'll just do that. Stream is starting. All right. The interview has